Hey, Lake listeners. Thank you for tuning in for more of the Grow, Thrive, Inspire podcast. Today, we are excited to have another community spotlight episode highlighting a business who is blending baseball, softball, and the perfect vacation experience together. Here to talk about it is their general manager who bats with authority, Mr. Jeff Vernetti. Jeff, thanks so much for being here. I'm super excited to talk about you and Ballparks National.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
So let's just start with just telling us about yourself and where you found the passion to kind of do what you do.
Well, I moved here from St. Louis in 2017, and previous to this, my work was I was a talk show host on a sports talk show for about 10 years, a couple of different stations, and just always had wanted to work in sports, never wanted to have a regular job, so those two things kind of blended together. But as the radio industry has changed and, ownerships have changed and stuff, I just wanted to take my fate into my own hands. And I had a indoor batting cage on the side all the time I was doing radio, just a side business and side investment, and decided, there's something that could be done with that at the lake. That was sort of my end of the idea. And then my partner, Bob Ramsey, who's also on the radio in St. Louis, he had just brought his son home from Cooperstown, New York, which has probably the best facility in the country. It targets just 12-year-old baseball players. It's a huge moneymaker, and he came back with, boy, we should do something like that. I had the idea for the lake, and he thought make my idea a little bit bigger than just batting cages and training facilities. So that's sort of what it started. But no, I've just always been in sports, played baseball in college and all through school, and coached my kids, and just always wanted to do something in sports.
Well, and you had mentioned, your history within your radio career, and I know that you had interviewed some of the great players and had several different games that you covered as well. You had mentioned like Super Bowls even. What were some of your favorites that you can remember?
Yeah, that was the fun part of the job. I got to cover 7 Super Bowls with the radio station I worked with, which was really neat. For those that haven't been there, the week leading up to the Super Bowl is far better than the game itself because it's just hundreds and even over 1,000 radio stations or now podcasts or TV shows from all over the country, all the big national ones, but then every major market sends shows, and celebrities will and athletes will endorse a product. So you get a real interview, and at the end you've got to talk about pistachio nuts or something that they're slinging. So that was a really good opportunity. And then I get to travel. I travel when the St. Louis had the Rams. I was with them for 2 years, did all the games. I got to travel all over the country, and then been lucky having the Cardinals be good, and St. Louis would get a lot of events like the NCAA tournaments and whatnot. But no, the Super Bowl would be the best opportunities to do things. my favorite player, and got a chance to meet him and cover him, was Kurt Warner, so I interviewed him a number of times. But no, I've interviewed Joe Montana and just tons of my favorites over the years, which is really cool. I tried to count at some point how many Hall of Famers and different things, and that's the cool thing, because most of them are pretty down to earth, and they weren't there for the product. The product was almost the hassle.
Yeah.
But got to. Terry Bradshaw was a cool one, and just a lot of guys that could just talk and talk and talk, and then their handlers would have to swoop them away. But no, it was a really neat opportunity. Steve Young was one of my favorite players growing up. The 49ers, great quarterback. I had a chance to talk to him. Reggie Jackson was a cool one on the baseball side. So no, that was a neat thing. On the St. Louis side, I grew up a fan, of course, and then you get into it, and then that's the thing that I think that's the misconception when you work in the media. It's not free tickets and all that. You go to work. Yeah. So you're not there drinking or having a good time. You're not there cheering. You don't wear Cardinal stuff. You're working. Wow. So it takes a little bit of the fun out of it, because, I was at a Super Bowl and not cheering. It was weird. It's a different experience. So then when you go to a game as a fan, and maybe somebody was a jerk to you in the locker room, and you're now not a fan for him, everyone else is cheering, and you're, if I could only tell you what this guy's like. Or conversely, like, you can't. Hockey players seem to be the most down to earth. And I don't know if that's typecasting, but I'll go with it, because, you meet more and more great hockey players. Like, when you're in their locker room, they're respectful, and, they get in and get out. And then there's a lot of baseball players tend to be the moodiest. And I think because their season's the longest, they see us a lot, and they get annoyed. And But it's, look, it's fun for a minute. Like, it was cool meeting Stan Musial before he passed away, and Bob Gibson before he passed away, and like Lou Brock before he. I mean, unfortunately, the Cardinals have had a lot of deaths lately in Hall of Famers. But I could call Tony La Russa today, and he'd answer. Like, those things are neat. But then at the same time, you're interviewing guys naked. It's weird. It's just a weird. It's just a weird. It's not really. I mean, I'm joking, but guys in towels, it just gets old. So it sort of takes the fan away from it. Mm-hmm. And when I was in radio, my kids were a lot younger. You really want to just be going to the game with them.
Absolutely.
And you're not.
Yeah.
So I'm not complaining. I mean, I work 2 hours a day some days because that's the length of my show. But, I'm glad I can be a fan again.
That's really
and I'm not
neat.
Working in it. But it was a cool experience. I mean, you get a chance to meet a lot of great people.
Well, I was going to say, you named off some of my favorites even too, and just to, as we get older and we reflect, that's something that you'll always have and nobody will ever take away. So that's really neat. But let's dive deeper and tell us about Ballparks National. Like, you've been developing since 2015, correct?
Yeah, and the idea of it came up in 2012. So it's an 8-year journey. All the time I was in sports talk radio, first we wanted to see, all right, okay, is it a good idea? So lots of research. Then, we're not developers, so how much would it cost to build it?
Right.
$1 million, $10 million, $50 million? We had no idea. So figuring out all of those things, and then the most difficult part was actually buying land, figuring it out, because we did ours. It's 100% privately owned. So, people question the delays. I would say go try to raise money. It's not an easy thing. So to do it, to sell the idea to investors, we needed the land. So it was getting those people to jump in first and buy the land. But no, it's really, I think we really started honing in like in 2014, 15, like in that era for our business model. And then we bought the land in 15, started developing in 16, put it on hold for a while and then went back at it. But I would say all the while that was on hold after we started, it really gave us, I look back now, it was frustrating because, everyone either doubted that it was going to happen or wanted it to happen and was bummed out. There's people in either two camps. I think for our business side of it, because my partner handles most of the tournaments and I handle most of the marketing and the business side of it, like all of our food and all of our revenue opportunities, our sales, our partnerships. So I think it gave us, and especially me in particular, a lot of time to really sit back and say, okay, while we're waiting for this to be built, how will our ideas work? Like, how will we sell food? What will our advertising packages be like? And then what will a sponsor get for that other than just signs?
When you were researching and trying to come up with, all of those great ideas, did you have other models in different marketplaces that you were kind of looking at?
Yeah, we had, we took our business plan and shopped it around to a couple of different areas. And then when the city was trying to, or the CVB, I should say, was trying to decide pre-soccer thing, but they were trying to decide, should we bring anything here? Like soccer, like baseball, what should it be? They did a feasibility study. So they did that on their own, but they allowed, and everybody, it was, all paid for by us. So we were able to look at that. We used some of that. But, there's very few privately owned facilities in the country. So, and then those folks, rightfully so, don't share a lot of their info. But we were able to talk to a couple of people that used to work at facilities, and that gave us a really good feedback. But we did a big market survey to civically owned ones, just to give us an idea of that end of the business. Absolutely. The typical model is, like Osage Beach has a really nice city park, but an operator will come in and rent the park. The city keeps the food, operator does everything else.
Right.
Where we're doing everything from top to bottom. So it's just a different animal. You can't compare apples to oranges. The city park, I'm sure, has infrastructure costs that we don't. Absolutely. They probably have some revenue that pays for some of those things that we don't get, but vice versa, we get to keep a lot more, and so it's a different animal. But yeah, we really hunkered down those couple of years and did true surveys. And the real thing that we're proud of is we really tried to find out what people didn't want and tried to go the opposite. So we don't charge a gate fee. We don't charge a parking fee. We don't, those are a couple of the things that people just hate universally. We put in more bathrooms than we were recommended to put in because moms, that was a big complaint. No metal bleachers. they came across university like, boy, I hate the seating at this place.
Wow.
So again, we just tried to take some of those things and do what we could with the money we had.
Yeah, and that's a great idea to kind of look at all those no's and then figure out a way around
Yeah,
it.
to flip it.
To flip it. Yeah, that's really neat. What services are you guys kind of offering right now?
Well, it's the park is tournament based, so we'll have events. We just released our 2021 schedule, so we'll have weekend events from early March through Halloween, and then our week longs are really our primary thing, the LOZ Championship Series. So it's 8 weeks from the first week of June through the first week of August. Teams will come in and check in on a Sunday. They'll play Monday and Tuesday, have an off day Wednesday to enjoy the lake and reset their pitching, and then play Thursday and Friday. And then our weekend folks come in. So week longs have become a big thing. Families are turning their child's sports, doesn't matter if it's baseball or softball or whatever it is, hockey parents and soccer parents and volleyball parents, they all travel for vacations now. So we made that a focal point of it. We'll probably have some local leagues and stuff when we get into next year, but primarily this is driven to bring people to the lake.
Well, and I think local leagues would be really cool for the locals here and kids that don't necessarily play in the local schools or have that opportunity. That might be really neat.
And we have a lot of adults asking for adult slow pitch softball or something, but the fields are small for adults. They're 200 feet down the line and 230 to center. So we're thinking about some different things like, do we do kickball or there's a version of softball called Chicago style. It's with a much bigger ball. You play with, they say it's 2 gloves. You play barehanded. So we're going to try some different things like that and just see what people like. Can't hurt to flip the lights on and play.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Sign me up for some adult softball because I haven't played in a while, but I loved it. But switching kind of back to you, being in sports industry like your whole life, do you consider yourself to have kind of a specialty or a niche with anything that you're doing?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, in regards to Ballparks National, do I have a specialty?
Yeah.
Hopefully it's. I've worked on a lot of different industries. Not only did I work in sports talk radio, but I was a call center manager for a number of years. I worked for a liquor distributor, so I've had a number of different sales jobs. So, hopefully my niche is making it a fun and exciting place to work. I've seen, unfortunately, work for a lot of bad people, or at least people that are just punching a clock. Just like a lot of the big attractions at the lake, like our friends at Big Surf. I mean, they work tirelessly, but you have to give your employees a reward for that. That's not just monetary. Like, why? It's been a fascinating thing to look at. Like, how does Big Surf? Just to use them as an example, there's 100 Bridal Cave. There's a bunch that have long-time employees, but how do they stay open 20 plus years? Have people come back and back and back, employee-wise, and still, it's not like they're paying everybody crazy like they can't. So, like, how do you do it? Well, you make it a rewarding place to work. You make it fun, and you make the employees feel valued. So, I think that's sort of what I'll bring to the table is that experience of caring about those things, hopefully, and making it a fun place to work. And two, hopefully, I think people will see that we're not just throwing darts at the board, that there is a plan. But I want, we've got a management staff, including myself and my partner, 7 of us. So I want the other 5 that weren't Bob and I to realize that just because we thought of it years ago doesn't mean we can't pivot.
Yeah, or take on new ideas.
Yeah, so hopefully they see me as flexible. They probably laugh when they hear me say that. But, and that's what I hope that we can become, because everything changes.
I agree.
What will youth sports be like in 5 years? Can you tell me? No one knows.
No one knows.
So
especially with something like COVID this year, nobody saw that coming.
Yeah.
So what does that, anything could change.
And we were just at the real estate symposium. Look at the change, like every industry, you have to adapt or die. So trying to read those, and I think that's what we're trying to do in some of our some of our business models is, just because sports are done a certain way doesn't mean we have to do it that way. I've got a thing on our wall at the office, the worst phrases in the language is, we've always done it this way. I hate, there's no way we have to do it. We just started. So it's all in pencil. We can erase, we can
I love
that. Scrap the piece of paper. Bob and I have an idea coming into it, but our staff is, they're smart professionals that have done it in other industries. So maybe they've got something that said, boy, that doesn't work. But No, just because fans are expecting like the things that you hear at U Sports, like gate fees and stay and play and the things like that. Well, we don't have to. We don't. We can do whatever we want.
Right. And
It works.
That's really inspiring. I mean, you guys think a lot like me. If Jeff and Jason were here, they'd be like, yeah, she always has ideas. And I can dream up the idea, but putting it, into place is something that I'd much rather do in a group-like experience, because 2 heads are better than 1, 3 heads are better. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you can definitely generate more ideas and more direction that way. You had mentioned in some of our conversations too that you're 100% privately funded. Can you elaborate more on that and kind of what that means for you guys and also maybe our community?
Yeah, I mean, this is no criticism of what that soccer program would have been like, or frankly anything done civically, because those things are great. They're needed. I like my tax dollars go into things that we all can use. So I get all that, but to do it our way and to do it in a way that we could control, and plus, how would I say this? Well, when taxes are involved and the taxpayers involved, rightfully so, they should look and be able to look at your business model. I want to keep that to myself. So the only way to do that is to raise money. So yeah, it took several years. I would say we really started hitting it hard in late 14, early 15. And I have an investment team of five people that are in at varying levels. But no, our loan and our funds are entirely privately risen. So we get zero tax dollars. We're getting zero money from anybody in the community, which is other than obviously patrons using the facility. We do have, we're in a tax incentive district. So like we are able to tax our users a 1% tax that we can kick back to ourselves for infrastructure, but that's only for people that actually buy something at the park. Like you have to come in and buy food or drink for us to get that benefit. So, and that's just frankly repaying some of our infrastructure costs. But no, we're 100% privately owned and operated. Again, I got 5 other investors, and that's who I answer to. But that they're ultimately the owners. I'm an owner as well, but they're the majority owners of the park.
Well, I think that it's great that you guys are privately funded like that, and I know that means extreme amounts of work too on that back end side. So that's really neat to dive deeper into that. Within your industry too, what are you seeing a lot of right now, like in our local market or the lake?
Yeah, COVID certainly affected a lot of things. Especially in the metropolitan areas that most visit the lake, St. Louis County in particular. Kansas City opened for youth sports a lot earlier. I think, though, that what we're seeing is what everybody's seeing is people were just excited to be able to get out and do something, even with restrictions. I know my son plays high school football, and we've had a number of areas, like they'll have to play. He goes to school at the Osage, so they'll have to play up in Boone County and stuff, and they'll restrict fans, which is, again, fine. That's their prerogative. And I think everyone, what's been great about it is no one complains. The business or the county or the people set their rules, and they just want their kids to be happy, which has been a big reward. Too often, youth sports become all about the parents.
Right.
Dad's trophy hunting, or, parents just way too much out for themselves or the winning. And looking back at it, now that my son's a senior, and you look back at things that we cared about when he was 8 or 10, and they just sit in a box and get dust now, when now it's all about like, oh, I wish he had more games. Like, I think what this made parents do is appreciate sports of all levels, just be able to do it. So I think that's made people frankly kinder and nicer. We've had events since Labor Day, and I can't tell you how nice people have been, respectful of those around them. We're following the guidelines that we have to follow. But I think, if anything, COVID's made people appreciate youth sports more. But what it's really done to the industry, though, is it's flipped the seasons. Normally, obviously, the spring and the summer are the biggest for both baseball and slow and fast pitch softball. Fall tends to be very slow for baseball because more boys have more options, football and soccer, in the fall, where girls fast pitch, that's entering the high school seasons, especially at the older level, like girls going into high school level, they'll play softball also club-based in the fall when they can, if they're not on their high school team. So it's been weird that it's flipped the seasons. So baseball and softball went so late into the year because it started so late. Right. I mean, most places didn't start till May. So you lost a couple of months of the season. So now fall, teams were just getting over it. It really pushed the fall way back. So it's been a weird year to look at sports in general. But it's for us, we just kept our heads down. And this fall for us wasn't about having sold out events or doing everything. I mean, because we're still working on some of our activities and some of our areas and still trying to get grass to grow in certain areas and all that kind of stuff. For us, it's just about showing that the park's real and open and you should play in 2021.
Yeah, and I think that that's a great idea. Also, to your idea about figuring out what's working, what's not working slowly. What do you kind of foresee the future looking like?
Sold out. No, I just I think we're on the right track. I mean, I think that I'm excited about our early numbers or early registrations for 2021. I think long term, for those that haven't been out there or haven't seen our videos, you'll see there's an undeveloped area to the right of our building. I think the future is that we perfect or as close to it over these next couple of years what we've currently built, evaluate what our strongest age group areas are, and then do something with those age groups in that undeveloped area. I mean, we certainly didn't build this to be done right now, but
Absolutely.
But a guy stopped me the other day. When are you finished? We're probably never finished. We've got almost 250 acres we could build on. We've only built on just over 100. We have a lot of room to expand. Frankly, if we do really well and make a bunch of money, and the investors say this is good, I'm happy because it looks good. It's fitting to the vision that I wanted to fit into. But no, for girls, we're all age softball, all age fast pitch. So an 8-year-old plays on the same basis as an 18-year-old does. It just the mound moves. But for boys, we only go up to 12U with a aluminum bat, and then we can do 13U for wood bat. But I'd like to see fields for the older age groups. And then I wouldn't mind getting into soccer and football fields and multi-purpose where we could do, because on those type of fields, big rectangles, you can do whatever you want. You could play more baseball, you could do lacrosse, you could do field hockey. It really wouldn't matter. You could do whatever you want.
Yeah, you could even do like a top golf thing, maybe even drive some balls.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we could do. So
yeah, and that's really neat. If our listeners right now were kind of interested in your services, how would you recommend that they reach out or find you guys?
Yeah, we're all over the social media. The best place is our website is ballparksnational.com. Our entire schedule is there. All of our contact ways to get there. And then Facebook, you can check out our marketing manager, Keith Lucas, does a great job keeping that up to date. You can message us through Facebook for those on there. If not, we have just a general email, info@ballparksnational.com, or you can reach out to me, Jeff, at the same ending. So feel free to contact us. The office number's there if you need anything. We still are looking for some local sponsorships at certain levels, and obviously we continue to try to improve on our vendor relations locally. So yeah, there'll still be a lot of opportunities, and we're trying to keep a lot of that, a lot of the people that we work with, lake or regional businesses. And that's what we were real proud during the construction process. The majority of the companies were all Missouri-based companies. A lot of local finishers really helped us out. So, we're really excited.
Well, I kind of want to switch back to you for the last couple questions, but what would you say is your most favorite part of your job?
That I'm the boss. No, I really do like the impact that hopefully we will have on the community. When we moved here in 2017 and we started doing this, and we had to put things on hold, I was still getting paid for the project. I was still developing, but I had to do some other things to help the investment group out. So I sold athletic equipment for a while to a lot of the local schools, and I had the opportunity to go into high schools and elementary schools and middle schools all over the Lake region. I would say from Lebanon up to Columbia and like over to Dixon and back down to Warsaw area. So I really saw a good makeup of the lake, and there are some fantastic schools and just some wonderful people. But we all know, every one of us that lives here, that it's an economically depressed area. And what I like is the impact that it's going to make on the community. We're going to have close to 100 employees, so that's a lot of jobs for a lot of people. I get to see, we've got a lot of kids from Max Creek that are working for us, but also their fast pitch team plays at the park. Seeing them have an opportunity to have a nice facility is just rewarding. And then I really do believe we're going to bring a lot of things to our partners that they're not currently getting. I mean, it's not bragging, it's just fact. We're going to bring close to 1,000 families a week to the lake. There's not many developments that can bring that many people over that long of a period of time.
That is really impressive.
So I just like the fact that we're going to have an impact in a positive way.
Right. Okay, so last question, and I love to ask this at the end of every show. It's a 3-parter, though.
Oh, no.
Okay. Where in your area of life or your business would you like to grow more?
Probably be more open-minded.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty, I'll just make fun of myself. No, but I'm pretty hard-headed in certain areas, or I want to be involved. I probably just need to be a little bit open-minded and again, this has been our baby for a while, where it's only been ours, and my partner and I have certain skill sets that he handles some things completely, and I do on the other side that we frankly don't even know a whole lot about what's going on, which is fine. But now, the reins have to be, I have to let loose a little bit, so that'd be the biggest thing.
Yeah, I could see that. I struggle with, I guess it's delegating more than anything sometimes when it comes to something that you're passionate about. In what area, personal or business, are you thriving right now?
I would just say for the first time in a long time, relieved wouldn't be the right word, but it's fun to see it open. I'm just generally happy that it has happened. It's like I was out there this weekend giving a tour, and it's just like, there it is. It happened. It's real. So just generally excited for the team and excited for all of us that have stuck with it. That it happened.
And to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, last one. What inspires you?
I really like people that have a vision but can talk about it. I really like those that can. They have a voice, but then they can also use it. Nothing bothers me more than that someone's got an audience that they can impact and they don't utilize it. Like, have you ever been to an event or something, and it's someone gets up and starts speaking, and the first thing they say is, Webster's Dictionary defines success as. If you ever go to a speech like that, it's a bad speech.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. What inspires me the most are people that have a captive audience and know how to use it and
bring value to it.
Yeah, and hopefully that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Grow, Thrive, Inspire listeners, as always, we could not be more thankful to Jeff for bringing Ballpark National's information and his experience within the sports industry here and sharing it with us. We have more episodes coming, so be sure to tune back in on Wednesdays and like and subscribe to our pages, or share us with those who love the lake area as much as you do. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes, or growthriveinspirepodcast.com. Be sure to also check out our open houses coming up. Open houses are posted on Thursdays for the upcoming weekend on our Facebook page. We are getting closer to Thanksgiving, and we are thankful to you, our listeners, and those who love our lake area. And remember to always grow, thrive, and inspire. See you soon.